Hello YouTubers and welcome to Novus Talks with me, your host Novus Scorpius. And in this video, as you can tell, we're going to be doing a review of Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, anyone who has seen my video yesterday that I did right after I came out of the movie and gave my initial thoughts, you already have an idea of what I'm going to say and what I'm going to talk about in this review. But as I said in that video, I was going to take time to organize my thoughts and do a proper review, and that's what I've done. Just to clarify, like I said, I've never played any Sonic games before, never had any experience with the franchise whatsoever, so I went into this completely blind. I've only seen gameplay and stuff here and there, and it's not a franchise that's ever really appealed to me. So, yeah, I went in not expecting much, and I came away quite surprised, quite pleasantly surprised. So what can I say about the movie itself? Well, it's a very simple premise. I do want to say, actually, this will be a non-spoiler review. It was something I didn't actually think about until now. This will be a non-spoiler review because I am aware the movie just came out in some places. It's a very simple premise anyway. It's a story of Sonic and how he's dealing with being alone on Earth and having no one be aware of his existence, and he's trying to fit into society, and it's how he copes with all of this that's going on around him is what sort of drives the opening part of the story forward. Eventually he meets Tom. I don't remember the last name for the life of me, but he meets Tom, who he refers to as Donut Lord. I'll probably say that if I forget his name, just because it's an easier reference. And it's like any sort of interaction at first between a human and some strange creature. You know, Tom is very distrusting and not really nice towards Sonic. He doesn't know what to really think of him, but over time, as they go on their adventure, they form more of a bond and they become close friends. And that becomes a central part to the story. A bit like in Pikachu, how Pikachu became friends and grew a connection with, I can't even remember the character's name of that either, if you'll have to forgive me. But anyways, you know what I mean anyway. Other than that though, the character moments, there's not much to them. They're very bare bones, to say. You got the moments between Sonic and Tom, and there isn't much to them to back those up in terms of character development, really. I mean, okay, Tom goes through the development of growing to like Sonic, but there's not really much there. And it's a simple film, so you can excuse it for not really focusing on that, because the film makes up for that in plenty of other ways. The main one being, and the one everyone is going to talk about, Dr. Robotnik. You know, having Jim Carrey as Robotnik, I was thinking, this can't work. Eggman is too serious of a character. He's supposed to be the type of character that, like, he looks very not like someone you can trust, kind of, but they went for a different take on the character. One that's very insane in his own right, but incredibly genius as well. Apparently he's an IQ of 300. Yeah. But yeah, Jim Carrey blew it out of the park in one of his best performances yet. He was absolutely hilariously entertaining to watch, as Jim Carrey usually is. And you can just tell watching it, he had so much fun doing this. And that it was a joy getting to see that in action. But he very quickly becomes the star of the movie. Even though he doesn't really have much going on in terms of him as a character or his story, and a lot is left up to interpretation, you can still tell from some of his witty humor lines and what he throws out there. You can piece together a lot of stuff that's gone on in his life to make him into the person who he is. And so that is something worth bringing up as well. In terms of action, there is action in it, obviously. Most of it happens toward the later half of the movie. when they arrive in San Francisco is when things really kick off. To my knowledge, you've a few run-ins here and there, but nothing too major. The San Francisco scenes are where things build up to their, in Jim Carrey's words, apotheosis. The soundtrack of the film, I didn't notice as much because I've never played the games, but just like Detective Pikachu, the soundtrack in this movie is taken from the games and just remixed into a live action version. And apparently the main theme plays at one point. So yeah, it's a lot like Detective Pikachu in many ways, and you're going to see me comparing it to that a lot. But it's because you can definitely see Paramount they observed the success of that movie and then learned, okay, what were the individual elements that made up that movie that worked? And they took those and applied it to Sonic, tweaked it a bit, refined it, and they made something really, really good with it. Not as good, of course, that bar is really high, but something incredibly good nonetheless, and something absolutely no one expected. We all thought this movie was going to be terrible, and they completely knocked it out of the park. So, bravo, I must say, it is impressive. But yeah, what else is there? The other characters, again, I can't remember their names for the life of me. For some reason, a lot of movies I tend not to remember the names of characters for, but Pretzel Lady, as Sonic calls her, is Tom's, I want to say, wife. Do correct me if I'm wrong on that one. She is a bit less important to the story, I will say. She does disappear for a fair bit without much of an explanation, or at least a reasonably weak explanation. But she does come back and she does help toward the latter half of the film. But it just seemed like they didn't have a lot for her to do. She was sort of there in the beginning to help show us more of Tom's character and how he's trying to balance his career with his love life and his ambition and his inspiration toward achieving his goals versus his family, basically. Other than that, there's really... Stone is another character. Robotnik's sidekick doesn't really do anything and he's just there for comic relief, but the movie runs really well because he's there to interact with Eggman. It's just really funny, and the scenes with him in it are just made even funnier because he's just the sidekick while Eggman's just throwing verbal abuse at him, and it's just really funny, and the jokes work so well. The jokes and the humor around Sonic himself, though, it is very kid-oriented. It is toward a young audience, but some of it's very cringe-worthy at times. And anyone who's seen the movie will know exactly what I'm specifically referring to when I say that. Elements of it did kind of get on your nerves, but not too much. It was in small doses, and once it happened, you kind of immediately forgot about it. So it didn't detract too much away from the actual overall experience, so to speak. But yeah, what else can I say to it? I don't have anything else to add to it on that. It's pretty basic and simple. There are quite a few references to the games, not just from what I've seen, but from what I'm hearing. The opening scene especially has a lot of references, and I wasn't aware of this because it kind of happens too quick, but the opening scene has some references to Super Smash Bros. Not in any big way now, not in any way that, oh my god, a Super Smash Bros. Universe is happening. Just a few things Sonic does that are taken from Super Smash Bros., we'll say. And it's a fun little Easter egg and kind of acknowledges where the character has come from and where his appeal currently lies, so to speak. Yeah, that's really all I got to it. If you are thinking of watching it, I will say there is a post-credit scene, so stick to the end. I had the unfortunate experience of having that spoiled for me a couple of days before, just out of the blue. I wasn't even looking at Sonic stuff. Some dude just posted this randomly in a comment section on Facebook, and it took away from the ending for me. But the ending is definitely interesting. And from what I hear, Jim Carrey has been sending a lot of ideas to Paramount about a sequel and maybe more sequels. So, how do I feel about that? I'm all down for a sequel. I think after what they've done, they've proven they can get it right. But I don't know if there's enough material there to jump with another movie. Okay, with Eggman you can maybe do some stuff. With Sonic himself, I feel, unless they borrow a lot more from the games and go less from the real world and more to the games, and maybe have Sonic jump between different worlds, unless they do that, then they're kind of limited in what they can do. But we'll see. They could surprise us. Yeah, I had something else in mind while I was saying all of that. That just completely escaped me there. Yeah, the design of Sonic. When the first trailer came out, it's just weird to imagine what the movie would have been like had we still gotten that design in the end. And the movie would still have been good, but it just would have been very off and very jarring. I personally didn't have anything too much. I mean, it looked fucking weird, but I didn't absolutely despise it as many people did. But I'm glad they changed it, and I'm glad they went with something at least relatively more a lot like what he's supposed to look like. And from what I hear, a lot of Sonic fans are extremely pleased. So this was quite the turnaround. And this is good news because video game movies right now are in a really good place. Detective Pikachu set a bar really high. Sonic has come in quite close with that. And so the future of video game movies look bright. The Mario movie that's coming in 2022 from Illumination, true, it's animated, but so it doesn't really have as much expectations to hit. But that definitely will have its own challenges and stuff to face. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. There's also the Metal Gear movie, which apparently has a final script, and Oscar Isaac has been cast as Snake. I don't like that, but whatever. Sonic has proven anything can work, so I'm willing to keep an open mind now. Other video game movies, there's the Five Nights at Freddy's movie that's somewhere along the way, although that doesn't fit in with this category of movies, but you know. I am interested to see the Metal Gear movie though, because that'll be the first sort of gritty modern take on a video game movie we will have gotten, so we have an eye out on that one. But yeah, it's an exciting time. Sonic has proved that video game movies have a strength, and that studios will listen to the fans if their voices are loud enough. So this movie, even though critics and other people getting involved have not focused in too much on this movie is making history for Hollywood, because it's showing that studios are now going to listen to their fans, especially when it comes to video game movies. They will trust that the fans know exactly what works and what doesn't. And that's only a good thing. It means we're going to get so many more good things in the future to come. So I'm really looking forward to see what happens. And who knows, maybe after 2 or 3 more Sonic movies, 2 or 3 more Pokemon movies and Mario movies, we might get like a Smash connection. Because I feel like you definitely, if they're going for a Smash universe, or probably not, especially since Sonic is definitely probably more closely held to Sega than it would be for Nintendo. If by miracle they're going for a Smash Bros. Universe, they'll definitely have to do a few movies of just the pure game universe of the specific characters first. Like, 4 or 5 Metroid movies first, 4 or 5 Zelda movies, and then bring them together so that people can be like, okay, we've gotten exactly what we wanted to see. We're more open-minded now to seeing a connection here. And it will be very interesting to see where the future takes us. But yeah, I've gone off on a bit of a rant, completely separate from what I wanted to say there in the last 5 minutes. But yeah, overall, the Sonic movie did a lot of things right. It has some great humor, a lot of entertainment, very engaging, some dull character moments that could have been improved upon, but nothing too damaging to the movie. Go see it. Even if you're like myself, you've never experienced Sonic, you don't like Sonic, it's funny just for Jim Carrey as Robotnik. the best. He is the star of the movie. It's basically the Robotnik movie, not the Sonic movie. But if there's one reason you watch it for him. So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it there before I drag this out for too long, as always. Let me know down in the comment section below. What did you think of the Sonic movie? Have you seen it yet? What did you think of that post-credit scene? Don't spoil it. What do you think they could do with a sequel? How far do you think they'll lean to the games? Are we going to get a Smash universe? Let me know down in the comment section below. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and please subscribe. Novus Corvius out.